Hi! So it's Ken again, back in my garden. Got my sprinkler on today because my lawn's a bit parched. But today we're going to do a continuation of a film I did a couple of films ago where we worked on the grass, the sparrow's tail sequence, and we did the turning, the 180 degree turning in it. But we didn't put in single whip to make up the whole of what we call the business person form in Cheng Man Ching style Tai Chi. So we're going to add single whip today, Dan Bien, single whip. So yeah, we are going to do the turning in it, so I'm not going to go into great detail in this. You can go back to the previous film if you don't know how to do that. The grass, the sparrow's tail sequence, and the 180 degree turn. Okay, so we'll just go from the very start. So postural requirements, so head as if suspended from above, pulled back with the ears, lifting, feeling the head, jaw parallel to the floor, sink the chest around the upper back, sink the ribs to fill the lower back, pelvic area is tilted forwards. Feels like it's hanging down from that suspension from above. Relaxing the hips, the knees and the ankles. When the arms are close to the body, keep that small gap underneath each armpit as if cradling a small bird's egg underneath there without crushing or dropping the eggs. We're going to be working with the fair lady's hand today and with the single whip. As I said, I'm not going to go into great detail on this, but I am going to build up to it. So standing in the center and just moving from side to side. Moving from the dancey in that area that's about 3 fingerlets below the belly button and in the center of the body. Visualize a ball, they're about the same size as your fist, and just moving it from side to side. Sinking down. As you sink down, the knee goes forwards, the hip goes backwards ever so slightly. Sinking down, so you're not going all the way into the front of the foot, so you put a lot of pressure on the knees, but you're not all the way back in the heel either. You feel yourself activating that pump of the plantar fascia, that connective tissue that runs along the soles of the feet. So again, working with those, as we worked on in previous films, the 2 triangles, so you get that pump of the foot. So bouncing, breathing in, and breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Nice deep abdominal breaths, breathing into that area that's about 3 fingerlets below the belly button and in the center of the body, which we know we can't, but imagine you are, and that will really activate the diaphragm to make sure you are doing nice diaphragmic breathing. Breathing in, breathing into this whole area. Just aiming for that area about 3 fingers below the belly button and in the center of the body. The dancing in the field of the Elixir, the field of the Simba, corresponds with the sacral chakra in Indian traditions and the Hara, I believe they call it in Japanese traditions. Okay, so let's bring the arms into it, so lower the weight of the body down through I'm going to go from my right leg. You can mirror me here or you can follow the film from behind. So breathing in right to left leg, push up the left arm. Breathing out, lowering it down. Breathing in left leg to right leg, push up the right arm. Breathing out, lowering it down. Breathing in. Breathing in, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. Keep that small gap underneath each armpit when the arms are close to the body. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. Breathing in. And breathing out. And when you sink all the way down, you have that straight line down from the earlobe down through the very center of the foot. Breathing in. Feel the body compressing, the weight of the body compressing itself against the ground. So you're not forcing yourself, you're not excessively tensing the muscles, or you won't be able to feel that compression of the muscles. The compression of the connective tissue against the bones, like the strings on a bow, like a bow and arrow. Breathing in. And breathing out. And you can start to work on the hook hand here, or the beak of the crane as it's often called. So breathing in, touching all 4 fingers to the thumb. Breathing in. Breathing all 4 fingers touch the thumb. And left right hand breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. Plucking. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Make sure you're not just lifting your arms up using your shoulders. You're compressing the body, or the weight of the body is compressing itself against the ground. You're just releasing that compression, or you're allowing that compression to release, and you steer that release of energy using your waist and the dancing to push your arm up. So once that release of compression has finished, you have the energy and it has dissipated, and just let the arms float down as if sinking in water. Into cloud hands, again, which we've worked on quite extensively in previous films. If you don't know this one, then you can go back to stop this film, go back to one of the other films. I'll put the link up here, and do cloud hands and work on the grass of the sparrow's tail sequence, and then bring yourself back to this film that we're going to be working on, single whip. business person for you. And lower the weight of the body down through the left leg. Left leg, then go on the left leg here. Turn to your right, stepping out. The shoulder. And again, make sure you are maintaining your shoulder there. There's a tendency, if you have tightness around here, for the foot to swing forwards and in. And in Cheng Man Ching style Tai Chi, we do really try to maintain our feet shoulder in our stances, pretty much throughout the whole form. Okay, so make this hand into a beak, into the hook hand of the single whip, and push across. Leave the hand here, and push across, and push your left arm up, pushing across. Get the majority weight from that front leg, and then turn the waist to the left to bring the right foot around 45 degrees. So we have our feet shoulder apart here, and we're in single whip here. I'm not locking my arm out here, but I don't want it to be too hooked, too bent here. Not straight, but not bent either. And in Cheng Man Ching style Tai Chi, we have the arm at the same angle as that rear foot, so 45-degree angle to the front foot. And in other styles of Tai Chi, they'll have like a 90-degree angle here. And in Cheng Man Ching style, or at least the style, the thread that I follow, the Malaysian strain, we have to split out its arm out at 45 degrees to the front. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I learned this off a Chen style teacher. It's like a silk reading thing, but it's nice to put it into like a nice qigong. So you sink back, hold forward, make the beat. And imagine you have like a silk ribbon in the center of your left hand. You're going to pull away, as if pulling the ribbon from the hand, and sink into the left leg and extend the right arm out. So you're feeling that cross connection as you sink into the left leg. Make sure the front knee goes in line with the toes, no further form the toes. Sacrum tucked under, tailbone points towards the floor. Square the hips up without creating tension here. Looking straight forward. Head's in the dead center between the two feet. Hand going no further forward than the front toes. Single whip, down behind, sink back. Breathe in, grab the ribbon, pull away, and sink. So you feel that cross connection here, pushing across. You have a like essence of shoulder here, elbow, and then sinking and pushing away. Breathing in, and breathing out. Keep the nose in line with the belly button. Shoulders stay in line with the hips. You could feel yourself, it's more of an external thing here, but you could feel yourself just pushing against the ground to push out. Or again, feel that compression. Compression, the weight of the body compressing itself against the ground, and you breathe in, you turn the waist and you release that compression, sink and extend. The rhythm from the hand, expand. So like a flower, unfolding, gently, effortlessly. Gentle, effortlessly. Breathing in and breathing out gracefully. Pulling the ribbon from the hand, unfolding. Single down bien. So I did read, and it's quite plausible. It's understandable here that this, or some say it's called carrying baskets, but that's not the translation. Dan bien is single whip. But a lot of Tai Chi people, they believe, or they take that literally, and they try to whip the hands out. I don't think that's more of an external martial arts thing. It's not so much a Tai Chi thing. So I don't know. It kind of go away and make up your own mind on that. But the one I like on this one is for single whip, like you're carrying a stick across here. What they call it, a yoke, where they have a weight on each end. Like, you're carrying things. You're going to work. You're carrying. Resting on your shoulders, on your neck, and on your whole body, and carrying a weight on each side, like two equally balanced scales, carrying like a, as I said, what they call a yoke. But let's put all this, all that together now with the grass of the sparrow tail sequence. So we're going to start from. We'll step out into our shoulder weight stance, into our ward off. So sink, turn. And we're into right ward off, and the grasp the sparrow tail sequence again, which we've been through quite extensively in a previous film, so I won't go into too much detail here. And we've gone through the turn as well. We sit back and we turn the body about 90 degrees to the side here. So the foot turns about 90 degrees in. We sit back, sink down, hold the ball, make the beak, sink, turn around. So I pull the heel round first, and then I touch the toes down, sit round, and I step out to try and get my shoulder width back. Push across. Into single whip, down bien, single whip. So I'll do it at this side. So I'm going to step round, use my lines on the floor to make sure I get my shoulder. This is Again, this is quite important in Cheng Man Ching style Tai Chi, just stepping around to the shoulder width here. So, from water, right water. Roll back, press, sit back, split, push, and turn. Round, hold the ball. So you really use this arm for balance here, like a cat uses its tail for balance. Step round to shoulder width, push across, and we're into single width. So to go round in the business person form, we just sink. There's a couple of ways of doing it. You can sink, step round into like lift hands or raise hands here, and then step out into water. And go round again, and grasp the sparrow scale sequence in the business person form. Turning from the waist, keeping nice and upright, sinking. Use the arm for balance here, step round to shoulder width, push across, and we have single width, bam bien. So you can do the lift hands and step round here, or you can sink, hold the ball. So once you have essence of shoulder strike here, push across into right water, and we have our short roll back, traveling backwards, projecting forwards, projecting backwards, turning into our single. I prefer the lift hands and step out. Rolling back. Kung Lu Chi. Turning into Bam Bien. So there are quite a few you could use as martial applications in this one. You could strike with this part here, it's quite strong. We just and it's a nice strike from up. If you're in close contact, a nice strike up into the chin there, it fits perfect underneath the chin. But most likely it's most likely used as a grab. You turn, you grab one hand, separate, and you strike, and you push away with the other hand. Rolling back. Nice fluid movement. One posture just flows seamlessly into the next. Have that as a swim on dry land feeling, so as if you're moving through water here. You can see up to your neck, nice and safe, head above the water, feet on the seabed. And you're moving through the water, making waves in the water, pushing it around. Nice and stable. You can imagine waves coming at you from all angles, so you have to be nice. Or you make sure you're not leaning on the water here, you have to be ready for a wave coming to try and push you from any direction. So you're not rigid or you will get washed up. Nice and relaxed. Moving on the toes. In. So this also taught as the business person form. People in high-rise buildings, in office buildings, in the forest, they don't have time to go to the parks to do their Tai Chi, so they can move their desk out of the way. And they have a nice little form that they can perform in a small space. I personally believe it probably should be called the prison form, or prison cell form. And Chinese martial arts have long been associated with triads. Triads, the original triads, they weren't gangsters or criminals. They've evolved into that. Criminals often end up being locked up, incarcerated in small cells. If they practice Tai Chi, they have in this form, a nice little form, nice short, continuous form that you can practice in a small space, like a prison cell. But don't quote me on that. It goes round and round and round. Nice little form, Okay, so I've said enough there, so you can, we'll finish there, we can keep going, but I am starting to waffle again, so I'm just going to finish there. So practice it, or don't, but make sure you're practicing something. I'd say give it a practice something. Even for those who have been watching my films, or bits of them, and they haven't really tried anything, give some of it a go. Give it a go for a week, a couple of weeks, just a few minutes every day, and it becomes something more through practice. So give it a go. But you can only it's experiential. You'll only get that through practice. So give it a go, and I will see you in the next film. Bye for now.